They say games are played on the field and not on paper, and that's a good thing. Because if this one were played on paper, it might get ugly, but you never know what's going to happen. Welcome to the Big House, home of the Michigan Wolverines. As we'll see a squad from the Mountain West, the New Mexico Lobos, taking on the 14th ranked team in the land, the Michigan Wolverines. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Reese Davis, David Pollack, Jesse Palmer alongside. Guys, we can't wait to see this game. Been looking forward to it all week. And the Wolverines will boot it away to start the game. And he takes this from inside the 5. Not a lot of space to be found. Good hustle by the coverage team, and they stop him at the 21. The Lobos offense will get the football first. And Jesse, they've got a running back they'd love to feature in this if he is able to answer the challenge.
Yeah, and listen, this guy might not be a Heisman finalist, but he can break off long runs. And this defense, David, they better be ready. They better pack a lunch, show up today, and try to get hats to the football. Because if you come out here with your B game, he can run all over.
And it's important for this offense, too, because they need to have balance on offense. They need the ground game to get going. He's capable. He's shown flashes. We just want to see it consistently.
You can barely hear yourself thinking here as they're trying to get this defense off to a good start. Takes the handoff. It's McKinney. Got the first down and more. He moves the chains, and they'll mark the ball at the 33.
It's got to feel good as an offense knowing that early in the drive you can turn around, hand it off, get a push up front, and go get positive yardage.
And this set of downs gets started from the 33, 1st and 10. Caught behind the line. It's Buckley. Nice gain on that play, but leaves it a little short of the first down.
In college football, you see this a ton now. You use a quick passing game, basically as the running game. Get a few yards, get your offense ahead of the sticks, keeps it on pace for success.
And the Lobos can play this second down a lot of ways with just a few yards to go. The give on the option. And the defense stops him just short of the first down. Maybe needed a few more chain links to move the sticks.
And, man, the big fellas up front, they don't get a lot of credit. They don't get talked about a lot unless it's negative, but they're the big component, man. They've got to get some push, to get some running lanes, get this running game going. They're the ones that make it go.
He'll sneak it. And he gets it done on 3rd down. They move the chains, and they'll mark it at the 44.
And, David, on 3rd and inches right there, that's often a decision the quarterback predetermines. Who's my best guard? That's the guy I'm going to try to get behind.
And I know that defensively, too, but I'm just trying to dive and create a pile, but it's so hard to stop that play. That's why you see it ran so successfully.
Off the play fake on 1st down, wants to throw. Tremendous awareness along the sideline and the ability to get the foot down for the big pickup.
Now, I think this receiver's forte is his route running. He's a guy that can line up all over the field, but it's not just catching post routes and goes. This guy can run shallows, he can run slants, he can run the option routes and find soft spots in the defense. This guy really has all the routes in his toolbox.
Stopped in the backfield. He's going to lose 3 yards on the play.
Defense is about firing off, hitting the offensive guys, and staying in your gaps. Everybody knowing where they're supposed to be. You could tell the defense, everyone was right where they're supposed to be, nowhere to run.
The Lobos with a long way to go after the loss on the last play. Trying to impose their will with the run. Not much running room there thanks to this senior defender. More than 100,000 making their presence felt. A huge 3rd down here in the Big House. They've got the screen set up. Turning it on. Powers through. They'll finally put the brakes on him at the 3. A big throw, catch and run on that one.
Well, this guy obviously spent a lot of time in the film room this week because he is dissecting this defense early in the game in the opening drive. Great job with his eyes, great job with his rhythm, an explosive play there. This defense does not have an answer for this dude.
And the Lobos trying to pay off the threat on 1st and goal. On the ground. He's going for the goal line. And he takes it in for the score. Touchdown, New Mexico.
What a luxury for an offense to have. The ability to set the tone on the ground, giving that guy the football time after time, making offense easy, being physical, and really setting the tone for this football game.
They get set for the point after as we have the first score of the game. And he's got the extra point, and it's 7-0 to start this one. He marched 78 yards down the field and closed the deal with a 3-yard touchdown run. They're coming out to tee it up for the kickoff, and that last score was a real buzzkill for this crowd. He'll bring it out. It's Marshall. I know he thinks he can house every return, but sometimes you just have to take a knee as he stopped at the 14. So Michigan's offense headed onto the field. Our first look at them today. And Jesse, they've got a quarterback that if he can get into a rhythm can certainly make plays for his team.
Here's the thing about him, too. He's not the most consistent guy, and he's not the most talented quarterback in the country, but when he's hot, he's really, really tough to stop, David. It's important to get this guy going early.
Yeah, and it's not just him. Like, the offense has to, around him, play well. They've got to protect him. Receivers have to make plays. The running game would be good to get going, so it's got to be a team effort because then he can really be at his best.
Now on 1st down from the 28. Might as well give it to him again. There he goes. He gets those chains moving, gets it out to the 42-yard line. See that maze in blue, and you expect tough-minded, hard-nosed running attacks.
I expect big, physical, huge linemen that don't like people, that are going to move them out of the way and do just this, what we did right here. Move the sticks, get first downs on the ground. That's who Michigan is.
And they picked up 9 on 1st down. It'll bring up 2nd and short.
You love to see this on offense. Early in drives, getting that kind of yardage keeps you ahead of the chains.
The Wolverines with a 2nd and short to keep this drive moving. From the gun, they'll give it on the inside. And he won't quite get there, but boy, after that pickup, just a few inches to go for the first. An array of possibilities here. And the Wolverines come to the line needing just inches for the 1st down. They'll run the sneak for him. Got the 1st down and still on his feet. All down, but he has enough to move the chains.
It's not sexy. It's not pretty. It's actually kind of old school because people don't really run a lot of QB sneaks anymore. You don't even see quarterbacks under center that much. But what do? You keep your momentum going. You've already strung together a bunch of plays. Now is not the time to get super aggressive. Way to go high percentage. Run the quarterback sneak. Get the 1st down.
And a 9-yard gain on 1st down leaves them with 2nd and short.
And winning 1st downs is a priority for a defense, and you can't get bludgeoned. You can't get physically beat at the point of attack. You know the percentages. It's usually pretty good on 1st down that they're going to run the football. So them getting that big chunk, getting in 2nd and short, not a good job by this defense.
Grabbed in the backfield. It's Simpson. Just what this offense was looking for. Sets him up number 26 with the 1st down. Completing a forward pass was much like solving the Rubik's Cube for Michigan a year ago, but now, Jesse, they have the nation's top recruit in Bryce Underwood, and the key is to develop him.
Yes, because he is the future for Michigan. There is no question about it. And you just saw just 2 seasons ago, when you've got a quarterback who's dynamic, who's highly recruited and developed, a guy like J.J. McCarthy, the sky's the limit for Michigan. You can win national championships. That's the hope for the Wolverines moving forward.
It's hard to run on a defense that comes off the ball like that and runs to the football like that. Good luck. No holes anywhere.
Got some work to do on second down after that last one. They need 13. Dropping back, it's Underwood. And he's all bottled up, and now it's worse. The ball's loose.
Woo. Deep breath, right? Man, you fumble that thing, you cough it up, you're like, oh, I really appreciate you, brother. I can't tell you how much I thank you because the coaches would have been all over me, but big-time break for the offense.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. On third and long, hoping to throw beyond the sticks. Makes the grab. It's McCulley. He's going to come up about 5 yards short of the line to gain.
Really nice job by the defense there. You're trying to force the quarterback to throw the football in front of you and allow your guys to square up and make a tackle out in space. You got to force the ball carrier to do something special after the catch. Not able to do it there, so really nice tactic by the defense.
Never a doubt. That'll bring him to within 4.
And you want a touchdown and you want to be aggressive, but man, right down the middle, that obviously gives me some confidence down the road that I can trust this guy.
So they were able to put up a 3 spot on that last drive, and now the kickoff team out there as they prepare to put boot to leather. On the move from inside his 5. Not a whole lot of room to operate on that return as the coverage unit was there and ready. Opening play of this drive comes from the 12-yard line. They'll start this drive going to the air. Fires deep on the run. Pulls it in down the middle. And they are pushing the ball down the field. A big pickup on that one, and the tackle is finally made.
What a throw on first down, the first play of the drive. And I think sometimes quarterbacks are given an alert on a specific play. And what that means is maybe the ball was supposed to go to somebody else. But in pre-snap, if the quarterback sees a matchup he likes, he's given the green light to take the shot. And I think that's exactly what happened on that play.
Now a first down from the 45-yard line. Looking downfield on first down. Catch in the middle, it's Buckley. He stopped just a chain link or 2 away from the first down and sets them up beautifully here.
And that's a great example of this quarterback having intense confidence in his own arm talent. That was not an easy window to throw into, but he had the ability, and he knew it.
The Lobos have a lot of options on second and inches. One running back in the backfield, and he has it. Guided out of bounds at the 22. Good play for this offense as they are threatening to score.
Well, he was able to gash him on that play. You just give this guy 1 inch, one little crease. He puts his foot in the ground, and he gets north fast.
And the Lobos will snap it on first and 10. Use the play fake, now to throw. Can't quite make the connection there. Might have let him a little too much.
And I tell you what, I know it's little when these QBs miss and the ball's not right to them, but man, it makes such a difference with yards after the catch. And in this case, even catching the football, it was just a little bit off, and it just made it a little bit difficult for his wide receiver to try to make the catch.
Quarterback running on the draw. The draw draws nothing except a swarm of tacklers. He's stopped immediately.
And that's why he is an All-American caliber player. He is just so physical and dominant against the run. He's able to shed blockers, use his athleticism, use his speed, get to the ball carrier and bring him down. Simply one of the best box defenders you're going to find in the entire country.
Going for it all. Oh, he had it. The deep ball was there, and it just trickled through his fingers.
tell you what, I don't know if the offense was expecting man coverage that time. 3rd and long in field goal range, you're expecting it to be zone. Instead, they lock them up man-to-man, everybody on an island, and everybody won. They get the incompletion, now setting up for it.
And they'll send out the field goal unit. This crowd trying to do it's hard to get inside the kicker's head. Oh, he missed it. No good. Guys, after the miss, still up by 4. And they'll get off one more play before the end of the quarter.
Oh, man, the dreaded doink when you knock it off the crossbar. Those are ones where, man, just a couple inches to the other side, towards the middle, and that thing's in, but it still counts as a miss and a missed opportunity.
That's the end of the period, and New Mexico has the lead. And we've reached the end of one. Before we move on, let's take a look at our stats so far. Heading in the opposite directions now as we crank it up in the second. So they'll go back to work after changing into the field. Dropping back, it's Underwood. Fires downfield. All kinds of room to throw that one in there. Plenty of room on that play, and they find their way to the 36.
That's a really nice pass. You can see why this guy right here gives the Michigan faithful reason to be optimistic. You know, for years we know Michigan has always been good at running the football, but they've got to be able to throw. They've got to be more consistent, making big plays through the air. This guy gives them that chance.
Running back searching for a hole. They get him down, but he does pick up 3 to the 32-yard line.
And sticking to the run. I'll tell you what, a lot of teams that are really good are really stubborn, and they continue to run the football even with little success. So this offense is going to continue to focus on running the football, you can tell.
Solid pickup of 4 on first down. It's 2nd and 6. Wants to go up top. Fires to the wideout. Catch in the middle. It's McCulley. And a nice grab with a defender right on him, and he's down at the 20.
Man, it's so important when you play QB. I got to know when to put some air on it, and I got to know when to rocket that thing in there. Work in the middle of the field. He knew he needed the rocket. Threw it in there. Great job, great catch.
Not able to hook up there. Incomplete.
Well, this defense knew coming in they were going to see some RPO and they were going to see some quick game. A nice job there taking the throw away from the quarterback.
They're dealing with a 2nd and long. They'll run play action. Intercepted to stop the threat. He's knocked down, but what a play to come up with the interception.
QBs have to understand, when I'm throwing against zones, I got to manipulate guys with my eyes. I might have to look one direction to create an opening to throw that ball or zip that ball in. I got to use touch. It's really hard when all eyes are on me, and you could tell the quarterback was not ready and did not make a good throw.
90 yards in front of them as they start the drive at their own 10. From the shotgun, they'll run it. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play.
Great job of contained by this defense. And in order to do that, the end man on the line of scrimmage defensively has got to be able to set the point and force the football back into traffic. And that's exactly what happened.
They got nothing on the last play. It's 2nd and 10. Back to pass. Quarterback strolling away from heat. Got to protect the merchandise. Gets down without taking a hit.
Well, you're making a positive out of a negative. In that time, quarterback, nice job, buying time. He's trying to throw the football downfield. Nothing there, so instead of throwing it away, getting the incomplete, just get what you can get and make this next down more manageable.
Big noise in the big house for this huge 3rd down play. Caught near the sticks. It's Buckley. Really needed a play like that to get out of their own end. They move the chains. They mark it at the 29.
Nice job by the wide receiver getting open on that slant route against man coverage. He fakes like he's going to the outside. He's able to create some separation, cross his face, and then secures the catch.
The Lobos come to the line with a fresh set of downs. Caught in the backfield. It's Buckley. And the defense settled in to stop that one for a short gain.
Ooh, and that was close for the offense. They try to go wide receiver screen. They're counting on that receiver beating that defender. Wasn't able to make a miss that time, but if I'm on offense, I'm going back to that play later.
Working well behind the sticks on second down. Looking to fire. Grabbed over the middle. It's Blair. They make the stop, trying to pick up just a little bit at a time to get to that first down marker.
Well, the defense playing zone coverage there. They're taking away all of the QB's primary options down the field, so he has to check it down to the drag running underneath.
And the Lobos line up, trying to move the sticks on 3rd and short. Just keep slinging it. Snagged in the middle, it's Johnson. Good job running that route to get past the sticks because he got nothing after the catch.
Right, second quarter, getting closer to the half. Offense is still having a lot of success stringing some first downs together. Defense is going to need to figure something out before they get to halftime.
The Lobos are moving quickly down the field. Caught in the backfield, it's Buckley. Trying to hit him with a quick game on first down, and nothing doing there.
Well, give the defense credit on that one because they knew coming into this one that they were going to try to get this receiver the ball in a variety of ways. They were ready for the screen there, and they create a negative play.
They've got a solid drive working, but now looking at 2nd and 11. Wants to go up top. That's caught. It's Humphrey. And he's almost to that first down marker there, saying he's a little bit short. They might want to bring out the sticks and measure, but it looks as if he'll be just short of the first down. And the Lobos lining up, just needing a few tough inches on 3rd down. Surging forward on the sneak. That'll get the job done and move the chains, and they'll mark the ball at the 45.
Man, let's not make football hard. The quarterback sneak has worked, and it continues to work. Keep using it until they stop it on those short yardage plays.
The Lobos kept this drive moving on the ground, now back to work. Coming out on first down with the play fake. Got him downfield. And he's brought down after a nice gain.
And guys, how many first downs is that just on this drive alone? I mean, this defense allows 1 or 2 more drives like this, and they're going to be gassed by the 3rd quarter.
Just inside the 30 at the 29, it's 1st and 10. Wide receiver going in motion. They pick up half of it. It'll be 2nd and 5. Got a little work done on first down, now back to the line. Off play action. Unloads to the wideout. A strike downfield. He's brought down, but he's got him inside the 10. 1st and goal from the 8.
I think one of the most undervalued assets in good quarterback play is the play action game. Making the run fake honestly and truthfully looking like run. You're fooling the defense, and then you're just making it easier on yourself because you're giving yourself bigger lanes to throw the football into.
They'll try to get it in with the run. What a tackle in the backfield. He'll lose 6 on the play.
And I understand what the offense is trying to do. Use the wide side of the field, right? Use all that space, pitch on the outside, get on the edge. But the defense was too disciplined. Great job setting the edge, not letting them get outside, making the big tackle.
Defense rose up deep in its own end on that last play. Now a 2nd and long coming. The run up the middle, trying to power to the goal line. And there was nowhere to go, just stopped in his tracks in the backfield. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. On 3rd and goal, you can't hear yourself thinking here. Looking to throw, and he needs a bunch. Pocket breaking down. And he just throws it away. That is not what you're looking for on 3rd down. 4th down coming up.
Good job by this defense, man. They've given up some yards and some plays on this drive, but they didn't lose focus. They stayed dedicated to what they're doing, and a great job on third down, forcing the fourth down here, and hopefully the field goal attempt.
And for the second time tonight, they'll trot out the field goal kicker. This whole place going to see if this kicker can operate in the sea of noise. And he kept that one just straight enough to graze inside the left upright. Now up by 7 points here in the second. So they're lining up to kick it off after that last drive. Put a 3-spot on the board, and now the defense will try to shut him down. He'll bring it back from inside his 5. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. No reason to be in a big rush. They have some time here late in the half. They'll toss it to the outside on the left. Didn't find a lot of room. Let's give him 2 out to the 20.
And the defense doing a great job committing to the run. When you commit to the run like this, obviously you can give up some plays in the passing game, but you got to stop the run first.
After the 3-yard pickup, they come to the line, 2nd and 7. Takes the handoff. It's Haynes. Not much there. Picks up a couple to the 22.
The big fella in the middle, man. Those defensive tackles, they go such a long way in deciding and really stopping the other team's run game. Just forcing contact with those guards and those centers, owning the line of scrimmage, and getting running backs on the ground.
They'll need to convert this 3rd down from their own 22 to get this drive jump-started. Looking to throw, it's Underwood. The sure hands, it's Simpson. He'll have the 1st down as he gets it to the 28-yard line before he's stopped.
Listen, at this point, the end of the first half, we're trying to generate some points. 1st downs are the most important thing. So a really good job there converting on that 3rd. I love the decision by the quarterback. You kind of wonder, though, are they going to want to be a bit more aggressive and maybe start taking some more shots and attack?
Looking left. And that incomplete pass caused by the big hit on 1st down. 2nd down coming.
Well, this offense has gone his way early and often in this game. They've gotten into a nice rhythm. That time, though, the defense was expecting to throw going his way. They put a really nice hit on him to force the incompletion.
Plenty of work to do here on 2nd and long. Give to the running back. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, they're trying to run the football there, just nowhere to go. They got dominated up front at the point of attack.
Ball's at the 29. Defense can taste getting off the field. It's 3rd and long. From the gun, wants to pass. Going to throw it over the top of the deep. And the ball is caught. He's inside the 35.
Who needs a 2-minute offense when you're this explosive? This offense creates the big play, completely flips the field position right away, now in a position to go ahead and score points before the half.
Finally, this offense starting to show a little juice. They've got a 1st and 10. They'll go to the ground. Not much running room there thanks to this senior defender. We got a timeout here late in the first half, and they'll try to get more points on the board before the break. Got 3 on 1st down. It's 2nd and 7. They'll go right back to him. And a nice solid pickup there before the defense wrestles him to the ground.
Just a simple power play, power football. Be strong, be big, be physical. Make it a 4th quarter game. Make them feel you. Keep them off balance.
The Wolverines come to the ball trying to pick up this 3rd and short. They'll try to power their way ahead. And they're able to get a 3rd down stop here. See if they go for it on 4th. Timeout called by the defense. It's their 1st of the half as they'll go to the sideline and try to make adjustments. And let's hold on just a minute here as the officials are going to have a second look. So after reviewing the undisputable video evidence, the replay booth has decided to overturn the call. to the ground with the back. Really good job by everybody there. Well blocked, good run, and a first down. They'll immediately call timeout. And the Wolverines had tough field position to start this drive, but they've been relentless in moving the ball methodically down the field. And he fights his way forward, gets away from one, but not much doing on that one.
And he tried to do all he could. He broke one tackle, but my goodness, guys were hitting him left and right in the backfield.
This is a staple for any good defensive coordinator. They want their guys to swarm to the football, to gang tackle. If one guy misses, another one's there.
No doubt. And the staple for the offensive coordinator or the offensive line coach is block those guys. Don't watch them tackle our guys.
And here on second down, they'll send out the field goal unit to try to get 3 before the break. Splits the uprights right down the middle. That'll bring him to within 4.
Man, so many more times we're going to say, go for it, be aggressive. Nice to have a guy you can depend on, and you know you're putting 3 on the board. Nice kick, nice job.
That late-in-the-half field goal always gives you a little boost going to the locker room, and they'll need to finish off these final few seconds and not allow them to answer. He'll bring it out from inside his own 10. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. That's the end of the second quarter. That means it's time to join Kevin in our halftime update.
Gentlemen, one half in the books, and I am eagerly looking forward to that second half in Ann Arbor. And a lot of coaches will say limiting the big plays and maybe hitting on a few yourself is key. But I'm more of a move the chains guy. Give me efficiency every day of the week and twice on Saturday. The offensive unit that subscribes to the less is more philosophy might be the one that leaves here today with a big fat W. With that said, let's send it back to the fellas in the booth at Michigan Stadium.
And the Lobos will kick it away first, and we'll start the second half. He'll start the return inside his 5. He was hoping for something a little more dynamic, but they get him on the ground at the 20. They'll snap it from the 20 for the opening play of this drive. Pulls it, fired complete.
I love offenses and quarterbacks that are willing to take the easy stuff. Take those easy throws that are guaranteed to get positive yards. Yeah, I'm going to take big shots down the field too. But don't forget, it's easier to pick up 2nd and 5, 3rd and 5 than it is when we start getting those long yardage situations.
Now on second down. Looking to pass. It's Underwood. Got it in the middle. It's McCulley. That one could really put this drive into high gear as they have a first down at the 37.
It's really nice when you're an offensive coach and you can basically attack the whole field. When you got an arm like this and you can just, boom, put it on a line, it's really nice to have that.
They've got it at the 37. It's 1st and 10. The give on the counter. And he never had a chance. Just stopped cold as soon as he got it. They thought maybe they could get the defense flowing the wrong way on the counter, but they were not fooled.
Get them flowing one way and then maybe hit that outside on the other side, right? But they didn't even let it get outside. They kept it right in the middle of the field, did a great job seeing it, going and getting it, being aggressive. You got to find a different way maybe to attack these guys to use their speed against them.
Rush coming in hot, and they got him at the 29.
And this offensive line's got to do a better job. Man, you got to protect your quarterback. Listen, this offense is not playing great. They got to somehow find a way to start to get something together here in this second half.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. On 3rd and long, doesn't need to take the check down. Unloads to the right. It's caught. He's going to be out of bounds, but not before he gets it to midfield. And they just want to give give this guy a chance to make a play on third down, and more times than not, he is going to deliver.
He's so good, so efficient, such a good route runner, got the speed, got the complete game, so you definitely want to highlight him, and especially on those downs that matter the most. If something's not open quick underneath, find him. He'll make those contested catches.
From the gun to give, looking for room. Oh, he's got some space. A huge play there, and they finally get him out of bounds at the 37.
You're down. Obviously, at the half, you had a conversation. We got to come out and put points on the board. And, Jesse, it looks like they're going to start with the ground game.
And I love this, David, too. Regardless of whether they're losing or they're winning, come out here and try to be the most physical unit here in the second half. Get this run game established.
And the offense went right back to their man, and this time the defense was ready to stop him. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. Got stuffed on first down. It's 2nd and 10. Looking for a man. It's Underwood. And that had all the makings of bug meat windshield, but how about the little corner taking on the big tight end and keeping him from getting the first? You know, David, this is really what game managing is. Nice pickup on second down to help them on the next play.
Yeah, I think people look at that negative sometimes, finding a quarterback that's a game manager. No, use your brain. Set up good situations. I'm way more successful when I can...
It's complete! Touchdown, Michigan! And that one will put them up here in the second half. I tell you, when this drive started, the defense thought they had them in a hole. Not anymore. What a performance.
And I really like the play calling by the offensive coordinator on that last drive. That was a nice mixture of running and throwing and getting different players involved. Really nice job, very poised in that play calling, and it showed up with a touchdown.
They'll try to add another to their lead. And the extra point puts them up by a field goal. They're set to kick it off, and this crowd now ready to get behind them. And it'll be a touchback. The ball will come out to the 25-yard line. The drive starts from their own 25-yard line. They'll start this drive going to the air. Throws to the wideout. And it's incomplete. If you're going to take a hit like that, you might as well hang on to the ball.
Well, it was a good throw. It was a good route, but it was the hit that forced that incompletion.
Well, will they dial up on second, and a long way to go. Give to the back. And this one will be stopped for no gain.
Another tough run for this offense, and I think a big reason why they're down on the scoreboard right now is they just haven't been able to get this guy going. They've tried to give him the ball a lot. It just hasn't paid off, but you get the feeling, too, if they are going to crawl back in this one, they need him to break one off, and it just takes one play for this guy. Don't be impatient. You got to keep giving him the football.
Makes the grab. Nice job to get it past the sticks, and they get him down at the 35. Simple call, excellent execution, moves the sticks on third down.
These QBs and receivers, man, they run this route in practice thousands of times. So it's nice to see them come out here and execute it in game conditions. Great job with the timing, great job with the depth and the route. Nice work between those two.
Pulls it in, it's Johnson. Good pickup there as he gets the first down, and they'll mark him at the 48.
Tackle is made near the 48-yard line. Good enough for a first down.
The Lobos are moving quickly down the field. Out of the gun to give to the back. Not much running room there thanks to this senior defender.
I think if you're the coaching staff, you have to like what you've seen from this guy so far in the game. He's pumped out some really nice runs. Obviously, he's already scored a touchdown. Really nice run there as well. And for me, I would keep thinking about creative ways of getting this guy the ball as the game goes on here in the second half.
Pulls it in. It's Blair. Really good surge for this offense. They move the chains, and he's got it at the 34.
Well, this guy's not easy to bring down. They just throw him a simple hitch pass, but he's got so many moves out in the open field. You've got to get a lot of hats to the football to get that guy down, prevent him from scoring on big plays.
And the Lobos will line it up on 1st and 10. Looking to throw on 1st down. And this will be incomplete. A big hit there forces 2nd down. Couldn't make the connection last time. Let's see if they throw it again. To the air on 2nd down. Just can't pull the trigger, and the quarterback is sacked at the 41.
What a great play. This guy is a force on this D-line. You think about Michigan football defensively, they've got dudes up front. Aiden Hutchinson, Brandon Graham, Ozzie Smith, Rashawn Gary. Guys that can win one-on-one, and guys that change and force your game plan to have to adapt for them. You need to double team these guys if you want to have any chance. This is that type of player. He's got so much ability.
On 3rd and long, a check down would be the last resort. Makes the catch. It's Johnson. They stop him short of the sticks, and it'll be 4th down.
You got to love that. On defense, one of the most critical statistics out there is how do you play on 3rd down? How do you prevent the opponent from keeping drives alive? Right there, tackling the catch. You gave up the completion. What do? You set up 4th and long. You're going to get the ball back. Go get some water and celebrate.
The official says no good. And after the miss, they're still down by a field goal.
You wonder if mechanically something is off with this kicker. That's now his 2nd missed field goal of the day. And guys, we've got almost perfect conditions to kick the football. I'm not sure what's going on.
First play of this drive comes from the 35-yard line. Quick touch pass to the receiver. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage.
The first thing you have to do to make these plays successful offensively is I have to block the edge. I got to get my speedster in space. They didn't do a good job of getting that guy out there in space where he can really use his jets. Nice job by the defense understanding it, seeing it, rallying to it, and tackling that guy for a loss.
The lone back's got it. They'll give him a couple. That leaves him with 3rd and 8.
Man, it's really hard to control the running game if you don't control the line of scrimmage. And how about the defensive line doing a great job attacking those guys up front, not open up lanes to run through. Nice job just nullifying that run altogether.
They've got to come up with a big play on this 3rd and long. With the catch, it's Moore. And the defense makes the immediate tackle, but he has enough for the 1st down.
And that's a huge 3rd down conversion by the offense there. It's 3rd and long. You've got to lead, not by a lot. Quarterback, though, very poised. Reads the coverage, throws it in rhythm, and you stay on the field.
Now they'll try to cash in this drive. 1st and 10 from the 50. Use the play fake. Now to throw. Got it in the middle. It's Moore. Really nice pickup on that one as they get it to the 36. It'll be 1st down.
Well, that's a really nice job surveying the field and delivering an accurate throw. You know, when I think back to Michigan quarterbacks, I think of guys like Elvis Grbac or Tom Brady, Jim Harbaugh, Brian Griese, guys that could hurt you throwing the ball from the pocket, surveying the field, reading defenses, and making quick decisions. This guy has the ability to do all of those things.
You can't let the same guy beat you over and over and over again. You got to make adjustments. Sometimes you got to bring more guys in the box, more guys to the football, and make sure he's not the one who beat you.
Lost one on that last one. It's 2nd and 11. Looking to throw, it's Underwood. Fires to the big fella. And that corner came in hot despite knowing that he was giving up some size. So an example of a tight end doing a little unheralded work to set up a much better third down situation.
And I like the QB here, Reese. I like the decision where I understand, let's get this football out, let's get some positive yards, and then get to third down, and we can still have a better situation now because we got rid of the football and took the yards that were there.
Caught over the middle. It's Klein. He'll be stopped about 2 yards short of a first down.
I mean, good news here, they get the completion. Bad news, though, not enough to pick up the first down. The target there, he's got to do a better job understanding where the first down marker is, make sure he gets the right depth on his route. Now, all of a sudden, head coach has a big decision to make.
On fourth down, looking for the completion. Fires to the big fella. And they reacted well to the completion, but it was too late to keep him from getting the first down. They were easily within field goal range there, but they don't feel like you can win this game 3 points at a time.
No, pass. I mean, you got to be aggressive. You got to get touchdowns, man. You've seen the emphasis. Defenses are willing to give up yards now to make you kick field goals. I like this offense being aggressive. Forget the threes. We need sixes.
And they make the tackle not before he gets the first down. Now let's see if they rush to the line or let the time run out here in the third. And talk about spreading the ball around, everyone getting a chance to show off the hands based on the number of targets we've seen. One more period to go to see who can make the winning plays and come home with the victory. They'll go back to work with a first down in the final period. Gonna run it. It's Haynes. They get him stopped, but those feet kept moving until he was down to the 5.
And this guy really has been a workhorse today. He's made plays when his offense has needed them the most. He's a guy who's reliable. They know they can turn around, give him the football, and he'll go make things work out. They're going to need him to finish this game. He has to continue playing well after that big run there.
Quick release by the QB. And he'll run into the end zone. Touchdown, Wolverines.
I like the aggressive play calling by the offensive coordinator on that drive as well. There are a lot of coaches that would have played it very conservative, very close to the vest, run the ball, and punt it away. Count on your defense, not this guy. He was going to take some shots, count on his own guys to get it done. And now with that touchdown late, they've got a 2-possession lead.
Lining up to tack one more onto that lead. And with the extra point, they're now up by a touchdown and a field goal at 10. They put together a 65-yard drive for the score. And the score comes on a 5-yard touchdown pass.
Set to kick this one away.
Here he comes from inside his own 5. And he's able to pick his way through the traffic nicely for a good return on that one before he's brought down. Starts a drive trying to go up top. Got a man. It's Thomas. Stopped at the 43 after the 15-yard pickup.
And this offense is going to have to come up clutch, man. Like late in the football game, you are trailing. This is why you get paid the big bucks. This is why the quarterback is the glamour position. Like, you've got to trust him. He's got to come through. They got to put a few drives together here to get back in this football game.
Looking to throw on first down. Out of the crowd, and now he's got room. He's going to be able to pick up a few yards before the slide.
You know, QBs want to make those big plays. They want to put up the big stats. But when nothing's there, sometimes you just tuck the ball, get a minimal gain. I like the slide, by the way, to get down and don't take a big hit.
The Lobos can really attack on this second and short. The give to the tailback. Not much running room there thanks to this senior defender.
And that run really didn't go anywhere. A lot of times we don't focus on it enough. How important those 5 guys are up front. To get on those defensive linemen, to try to move them out of the way, to get a run game going, it squarely falls on the shoulder of those 5 offensive linemen.
Quick pass to the left, trying to get it to the marker. And the Lobos will move the sticks. They absolutely had to have that third down to keep any glimmer of hope alive.
And defensively, that's exactly what I want. Make you get to third down. The clock is your enemy. Multiple possession lead. That is right where I want this offense.
The Lobos are on the move. To the air on first down. Using the back as a receiver on the screen. They make the stop, but a good pickup there on first down.
Well, a nice gainer on that running back screen. How about the offensive line getting downfield and getting blocks to really help out the back, find some space to go to work?
And the Lobos in a good spot here with second and short. He leaves it with the back. All things considered, he's probably lucky to be back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, this running back has struggled to find anywhere to go, and I think one reason why is this linebacker and his speed. He did a great job there identifying where the ball was going to go. He didn't let anybody block him. Made his way to the running back and got him on the ground. Nice job.
These fans stepping up to help this defense on third down. And I don't think he got there. No, they stopped him short. He does not pick up the first down.
And I think this offense ran the football knowing it's in fourth down territory. It's fourth and short. It's go time, almost near midfield. To me, this is green light. I got to stay aggressive. I'm losing, but the situation favors me in fourth and short.
Just drives it between the uprights. They pulled a little closer, now down 20-13.
How nice is it as a head coach to have a kicker like this? It makes these decisions on fourth down so much easier. Just strut him out there and let him stroke it through the uprights.
So after putting 3 on the board, the kickoff team is out there ready to boot it away. Coming out with it, it's Simpson. Not nearly as much as he'd hoped when he brought it out of the end zone. He'll be stopped at the 15. Good news, I guess. A lot of room to work with as they start this drive from their own 15. Looking for room. It's Haynes. That is a big win for this defense as they were right there as soon as he got the ball.
And when you're down later in the football game, you got to start taking some chances. And that was a beautiful run blitz. Great job playing the probability, understanding it might be a run to run some clock, and they guess right, and they make a big play for this defense.
They'll try the run. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that.
Yeah, it's a nice job by this defense. Obviously backed up against it. Time running out. Got to get the football back. 2 good plays. Now third down. I stay aggressive. Have to come after him. If they decide to throw the football, so be it. But stay aggressive. Get that football back for your offense.
Dropping back, it's Underwood. Flips it out on the screen. He's not going to get there, and this defense really needed a stop like that. Running a screen pass on third down can be feast or famine, and people going hungry after that one.
Yeah, defense, great job in a critical down and distance on third down, anticipating that this offense may try to sneak one by him on that screen pass. Nothing happening there.
Punt is in the air on fourth down. Takes it on the return. And you make the stop, and that is exactly what you want out of your punt cover unit. Let's see what the Lobos offense has in store. Going right to work up top. That's caught. It's Blair.
This offense has their work cut out for them, man, because the coverage has been so tight. And if you're not throwing to the sideline or you're not getting past the sticks, this defense is going to tackle you inbounds like they just did on that last play and bleed the clock.
Got the completion on the last play. Still some work to do on second down. Keeping it on the ground with the single back. He's brought down, but it'll be enough for a first down.
How about that play by the speed back? We hear about speed backs, and he's not the guy that runs in between the tackles. But let me tell you something. When you're trying to catch a guy like that and you're running full speed with everything you have, a lot of times you're just trying to get him to the ground, and you're not trying to put a good shot on him, and then all of a sudden they're breaking tackles. Great job by that young man.
They'll leave it with him. He has the first and still on his feet. He steps out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Big pickup on the ground, and they're rolling.
First down, physicality wins football games. Being able to run the football and create balance. And right here, just choose up another first down. Gives you another chance to maybe continue to run the football.
And I feel like this guy, too, is just an explosive play waiting to happen. His vision, his quickness, and he's got a burst. If you give this guy just a crease, he's going to hit it. And right now, he's doing some damage on this defense. Really nice job there by the quarterback understanding it's blitz, and not just that it's blitz, but knowing whether it's man coverage or zone coverage behind the blitz. You've still got to know where your answer is going to be based on what the defense is doing in the back end, and he add the answer to the test right there.
And he got nothing, and the line of scrimmage is still the 5-yard line.
And these linebackers, man, the reason they're winning this football game is they've been swarming. You watch them. They're downhill, not missing many tackles. They've really dominated the run game, and that's why they're winning this football game.
Can the D deny them on 2nd and goal? The run up the middle, trying to steamroll his way in. And there was nowhere to go, just stopped in his tracks in the backfield.
It's looking like they're going to have to try to throw this one into the end zone here on 3rd down, David. Quarterback's got to be careful. Can't get greedy because you know these windows, they close fast.
Extremely tight windows. Find your big body guys that you know can win in contested situations here on 3rd down.
Almost intercepted in the end zone, and what a red zone stop that would have been. It'll be 4th down.
And man, did the defense just miss an opportunity that they could have turned the lights out with the lead, get the football back here. Missed opportunity. Maybe this offense now can take advantage and swing some momentum in this football game.
No good. And they couldn't cut into the lead. It's still a 7-point game.
And these are the ones that make me want to remove kickers from the game. I mean, this is a chip shot field goal. It should be an automatic 3. He misses. Wasted drive, wasted opportunity.
The handoff, keep working on that clock. Keeps it moving for a 3-yard gain to the 24. Timeout called there by the defense, desperate to get the ball back and save as much time as possible. After the productive first down play at 2nd and 6. He'll do it himself. Stop behind the line, he'll lose a yard. Defense uses a timeout quickly, trying to get that ball back and preserve time for their offense. Now facing a 3rd and long. To the air, it's Underwood. He's got his man across the middle. Quick timeout called by the defense, stopping the clock to save as much time as possible for their offense.
Really nice execution by this offense. This is the time, right? Late in the football game, got to get a few first downs to preserve this lead, to get out of here with the W. They trust their quarterback. They protect him. They get the first down.
He snagged it, but he'll be stopped short of the first down. Good, solid pickup on that play.
This offense is not letting up, guys. They've got a lead here late, and they are still taking shots. They're still looking for explosive plays. This defense just has not had an answer here all game long.
Rides the back on the option, the give. He's got enough for the first down, and that ought to be enough to put them in victory formation for the rest of this one. The Wolverines come to the line with a new set of downs. And the quarterback's just going to take a knee.